Hey, what's up, guys? I'm happy to introduce you to my second show, second guest, and a very crafty man. I like the art that he put into his work. I like the persistence. I like the craftiness of this man. I like his attitude. I like his personality. I like his enthusiasm for what he does, for the conversation by itself. I'm a big fan of this man and the work that he does. I'm happy to introduce you guys to my second guest, and I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Let's go.
Really?
All right, finally the legend in the house. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, bro. Hey.
Treated like a king, bro. Look at that.
Easy, bro.
Excuse my hands full of paint.
Not
I did
at all,
wash them. I
brother.
did wash them. I did wash them.
Working guy right here.
Damn, bro. It's all good. Damn, bro.
Dude, that's crazy.
Crazy shit, bro. Damn, bro. Look. Tampering the void, bro. Damn.
Hey,
Shit.
legend. Cheers, legend. 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
I'm here with the legend. Thank you for coming, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the food, bro.
Hell yeah, my pleasure.
What
man.
a treat.
How do you like the food?
It
Did
was
you like
delicious.
it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's hard to find good food, especially because like I only eat specifics, you know. But
Homemade food.
That's the best.
Homemade food.
That's the best.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, Mario, thank you so much for being here, bro. I'm always captivated by people who have their own craft and they pursue that craft their whole life, you know? And I've seen you by now, and for what I know you, I've seen that you pursue your craft to your best, you know? So please tell us about what you do and how the artistry, how much of an artist you are for what you have pursued.
Yeah. So I'm Garcia, and what I do, I'm a hairdresser, and as well as I'm a platform artist for a company called Hair Evolution. I own 2 salons, one in Hillcrest, one in Escondido, and I also teach Monday through Friday on the weekly basis at a college. You know, and I just think one of the things that I like about myself and I like about my trade is that like I can relate it to, and I like industries that keep me like learning every day, because I feel like keeps my young spirit alive. And
Young spirit alive. That's very important, bro.
You know, keeps my
That's
young
very
spirit
important.
alive, and I keep, progressing as I go on. And I think like if I always keep learning, I'm always alive. If I'm always alive, that's part of the circle of life. You know, they always keep evolving into what we do, into a life. And if I put it into a good perspective, it always keeps me wanting more to go to work and perfecting my craft and perfecting even me as a person and as who I am, and that's one thing that I really appreciate. And for me, that's, at least in my perspective, not to put other jobs aside, but for me, I always appreciate jobs that are like, always there to challenge you and to motivate you to grow into whatever you chose. If it's jiu-jitsu, if it's a chef, if it's culinary, if it's artistic,
Absolutely.
that keeps you learning and keeps you going to become a better person than when you were yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
Tell us your beginnings, man. How were your beginnings, bro?
man.
Long story short.
If I can remember, really, really, really hard. I was always surrounded since I have memory. Since I was 9 to 10 years old, I was going always to my sister's salon. Always being surrounded by hair, cutting hair. They'll go home, talk about hair. When I reached to high school, I got to cut my teachers. And then when I started cutting teachers, I almost...
You got that first recognition, like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing.
And then I did it. It's funny because I've been surrounded so much, and by just looking at it, just like a visual learner, I did it so much without thinking. And when it was my sophomore year, and I started cutting some of my teachers, they really kind of liked it. And I remember it blew up like wildfire, because like I feel like I was monopolizing the game in my own terms. Like I'll walk around the classroom and they'll be like, "Hey, go to class." I go, "Hey, what's up, Mark? How are you?" I was like, "Oh, man." And then for me, the top is when I got to cut my counselor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then my counselor, one time I was a junior, and I remember well. he told me, "What are you doing here?"
Wow.
Yeah, and I always remember that. That was it. I remember he said, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, cutting hair. What do you mean?" It's like, "No, no. What are you doing in high school? And why are you still here?" And I was like, and he told me that like, when I was cutting in the classroom, and I was like, "Yeah, man." And some teacher jumped in. It was like, "Yeah, man." Some school teacher jumped in. He's like, "Yeah, man. You should be out there cutting some hair, making money. You know, people pay good money for this." And no disrespect, but I was kind of saying, I was like, "For this?"
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Yeah, man, you make it look so easy, and you're super natural about it. People have to learn their craft." Like, so I was like, "Oh, maybe there is money in this."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah, man, you can charge big dollars, and you really make it look natural. You just gotta work at your craft, get licensed." And from then on, the rest was history.
Hell yeah,
I literally, kid you not, after my junior year, which is 11th grade, I signed up to a college. I was going in morning school. And after school, I was going to a barber college. And 2 weeks after I graduated high school, I received my certificate. And I head up north to like start developing my craft a lot more serious. And my wife came with me. Well, at the moment she was my girlfriend, and my wife Anna, she moved in with me, and she still sticking with me with my craft. Wow. And I had that support, and she understood my craft very well. But I was just telling her, like, hold up, like, this is gonna be good, believe in my craft.
Believe in me, stay with me.
She was like, "Yeah, but there's not a lot of men cutting hair, I was like, don't worry, even better. And I remember I was making money by going to barber competitions, and I would travel to Long Beach and get competitions and get money, and sponsorships came in.
You'd be making money, but wow,
and
dude.
then like I was getting a job, quote unquote, illegally, because I didn't, because I when I was in high school, I didn't have I used to work after hours too on the weekends when I didn't go to college, and I work after hours so I can just develop my craft and get the feel of the shop. But it's funny because I never, like now that I look back at it, it was like I see people frustrated with like, "Oh, like my job this, my job that," or like I cannot get this thing through, or like I even see people who do jiu-jitsu, or people who do a culinary school, and they do other thing. And I was like, man, you have to understand one thing, one beautiful thing in life is like you have to learn to love it first. You know what I mean? If you love your trade, like if that's what you want to do, like you cannot just come in and thinking money first. Like, oh, I like it because if you start thinking business wise, like, oh, I can make my own hours, I can make my own this, like, yeah, I'm gonna go with this. No, like first you have to say, do I really love this? Yeah. Like, and passion. I think one of the biggest things is how do you yourself, you ask that question, and I ask my question every day, but I used to ask it frequently when I started, and I think I tell myself, like, would I still do this career if I don't get paid, or there's one day a massive recession, or would I do this job if there was one day a budget cut? Yes, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like that's how you know you're like you
found the love of a true artist.
Yeah, and then a lot of people be like, "How do you know if it's my job?" I always tell them, find something that you ask yourself those questions. Like, if it's being an Uber, it's like, will I still? Do you love to drive? Yeah, I love to drive. Yeah, and I don't mind getting paid, and I don't mind the gas prices to go up. Yeah, and I freaking love it. Then go ahead, that's cool.
But yeah, that's what brings me to my next question is one thing that always talking to you, I see that you are a grinder still. Even though you accomplish your success, you have your salons and stuff, you're still a grinder. You have your routine, and you're there early and you leave late. Tell us about that, bro. How's your routine?
So Monday through Friday, I'm really disciplined, and I kid you not, I wake up at 3:50. My first alarm goes off. I get in the shower by 4. I'm out the house by 4:20, and I need to start my first haircut at 5. Yeah,
this is an everyday basis.
And this is no joke because we have a contract with the police department, so I'm there by law. No pun intended. But I'm there, and I start my first haircut. Let's say I'm done with all my appointments in the morning at 7:30. I'm done with my last one of the morning. As soon as I head out, I head down to college. And I start teaching to the community, like people who joined in this industry from 8 to 2. and I teach all the way from beginner to advanced or master to teachers. I
Damn,
teach all
it's
around.
a legend right here.
Every hour I teach one class, and when I'm done, when I'm done teaching, I have a 30-minute gap between 2 to 3. And as I'm driving, I'm eating whatever we had last night, and I get to my car. I meditate for 5 to 10 minutes
nice.
to let me finish my day.
Nice.
And it could be considered a praying meditation, whatever you prefer. In my car by myself, I just need, like, even if it's 2 minutes of silence, do it real quick. I program myself, change my shoes, and then I go into the main job, which is like perfecting my craft, and I perfect my craft from 2:30. I usually start my first haircut at 2:30 all the way to 7:30 to 8. Once I'm done.
Who is these people that you cut the hair at that time?
That's shop people. Back again, we hit the routine people who actually now are my regulars, as in like.
Oh, okay, so that's
back to the shop.
Okay.
So it's like from house to shop to school to college, back to shop, then to house, and then I do it constantly. Like.
So what time you leave home? What time do you get back?
It's painful to say, but I leave home at 4:30. And I'm there by no later than 9.
Damn, dude, you're a grinder, bro. Much respect.
Every day.
Much respect.
And it's funny because
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is after how many years of you?
Oh, great question, bro. And this is people have always asked me that, but this is not something that I just woke up one day and I did it.
Yeah.
This is something that like I developed through years.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I started doing it when I knew I wasn't taking it seriously on 2014, around that time, 2014, 2013, I noticed that on the shop of my craft, I was just another statistic. I was just another number. I was just like, my clients will be like, seem so happy coming back. Hey man, how are you? Oh, how are you? Yeah, all right, see you, man. I'm going to him. And I was like, oh man, I guess he didn't like what I did.
Yeah.
Like I never got that feel of like.
He's back for me.
So I would get that constantly every time.
Damn, dude, that's painful.
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I guess. And time started passing, and my wife will ask me, Anna, she was like, oh, how was good today? I was like, yeah, it was good. I was like, oh, you made some money, yeah. I was like, but yeah, there was any comebacks? And she'll ask me, or she will never hear me say a thing, even though she will not tell me.
Yeah.
She wouldn't tell me like, oh, did that guy ever come back to you? Or I'll tell him a story. I was like, nah.
He doesn't show up.
So what happened, I started noticing that other people who were getting the cut and who were are the ones like always coming in early. Like the shop opened at 10, they were there by 9. I was like, So what I did, and I did this to myself, I kid you not, I saw the shop and I was like, okay, who's the best guy here? I was like, that's the guy. So I identify the guy, and then I was like, okay, what time does he open? He opens at 8. I'll be here at 7.
Okay.
And he does good customer service. I'm gonna do excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, he comes well dressed. I'm gonna come with the tie.
Nice. Because I've seen you very well dressed in your
so
salon.
I was like, oh, they do hot towel. Well, I'm gonna do hot towel and massager.
Oh.
Yeah, And then I did that for 8. And then the next year, my goal was to do the same thing, but now coming at 7.
Oh, bro.
And as I was doing that, my next year was perfect. Still keep my stamina of the craft, but now do my craft a little bit faster, but now coming at 6. And I remember I kept it at 6 for a while. And maybe like 4 years ago, I just hit like what I like to call the peak.
Yep.
And then I had clients literally telling me, hey man, like, especially like, officers who were like, hey man, what time do you go to work? I'll ask them. And they're like, I go in at 6. And I was like, will you be here in the shop at 5 if you're going to go at 6? And they're like, and then they'll kind of question like, are you going to be here? Because I'm already awake.
Yes.
And I'll be like, I'll be here. So that really kicked my butt to like wake up. And then from one guy, he told another guy. And for that, as a stylist, you're teach to like cut the hair and book him for the next week or the 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that kept going for 2 years, And next thing I knew, like, yeah, I was like, I think I was performing at my own art, my own craft, but what kept me is my discipline to like always just keep doing it. Yeah, keeping it pushing. But then again, without love, there's no discipline, you know. So
Yeah.
like you have, like it goes back to it again. I have to love to wake up at this time and this time,
And that persistence.
and what really keeps me motivated is my love, because like I come from a big family, and I know what it is to like share a Subway between 4 brothers.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know, so I was like, I never want to go back. So every time I'm driving in the morning to like the shop, and even though I live in Temecula and I work in San Diego, I don't think there's one day that I'm bothered to drive.
You're just blessed.
Yeah, I'm blessed. Like I have a car.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm tell you now, sometimes when it's like cutting hair, and a lot of I see some people get like bummed out because, oh man, it's raining out there. And I was like, what do you mind? It's a blessing, bro. Like, there's actually a guy taking out time of his day to come and see you on a rainy day, for you to service him on a rainy day on a roof with AC, with light, with you have lunch in the back. You're well dressed. You're never gonna get wet. Maybe from here to your car, and still he's paying you at the moment, and you're gonna take that home. So that keeps me like, well, and for me, one of the things that I always keep it with me, and I have it at the house, is the saying that like, if a guy makes me part of his routine and takes time, and I'm his priority for those 45 minutes, it's my duty for me to make him a priority for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
That's...
So I always see, if a guy takes appreciation for the next 45 minutes of his day for me, I have to pay respects back to him by owning him and giving him all my like attention,
you're giving your best,
everything, those 45 minutes,
absolutely,
as much as I can. And the great thing about it is like jiu-jitsu, one of the best sports out there. Like every round you get a chance to do it again. This haircut didn't and I was like, oh man,
not again.
I was like, okay, the next guy, I'm only as good as my last one.
Yeah,
you know, so like
that's how it is.
So I'm like, oh, like let's go it again, let's do it again, you know, and then I keep doing it over and over and over, and it just kept.
You bring that warrior mentality into it.
Correct. Yeah.
One question, one quote that I want to read to you, and I want to see. Just tell me what you think of it in your own words. First one is, every artist was first an amateur.
No, correct.
What can you say about that?
Yeah, I think it's like every artist was first an amateur because he was a student, you know. But I think you always have to understand that to yourself, that what is a pro, you know. Like I think us in society, we're like so
we want things fast.
Yeah, we're so in love and so passionate about immortality, because we think that one day we're gonna be the best. But what's the best on your own terms? So in my perspective, I always look at it like once an artist was once an amateur, and I think that's something that you should always go by, because you can always go by those every day. And next thing you know, in your perspective,
the white belt mentality.
If
always a white belt.
Yeah, if you're thinking yourself out, you're always developing your craft, but you're always an artist. People are gonna look at you like, no, that guy's a pro. But in your eyes, you're like, no, man, I'm just an amateur, bro. Like, you start comparing yourself to this guy, it's like, no, man, like I'm still an amateur. I'm still like, people ask me all this time. This question they always bring it to me every day. I'm in college. All the students, they tell me, you have your shops, you have the team, you have this guys, you have the sponsorship, you used to compete, you XYZ, why are you still teaching? Like, why do you teach? Like, and
what do you tell them?
I always tell them, because it keeps me grounded. Like, I'm all, just because I feed off you guys. Whatever you tell me, I feed back, and we go back and forth. You know, I'll learn from you guys, and I go back to myself, and I teach you, and then you teach me, and I teach you, and I teach me, and I have enough.
You're actually probably learning from their questions,
absolutely,
right? You're learning more from their questions.
Every day, I when I prep my lesson plan, and I teach it for an hour or two a day to all the teachers, and I have different talents, different aspects, different mentalities, different personalities.
Because we have to say it. I've seen you color hair. You are a complete artist. Like, there's nothing that you cannot do when it comes down to hair, right? You do it all, right?
I do it all.
You do it all.
Yeah,
bro. I've seen girls sit there. I've seen boys sit there.
Everything, kids,
nice,
everything. Yeah.
Designs.
To everything.
Everything.
Like, I don't identify myself as a barber or a Cosmo. Like, I just do it all. I'm like a style. I do it all. Like if you sit in my chair, like yeah, I understand this.
Because I had that feeling with you when I sat in your chair. I had the feeling like I could ask you anything and you would do it.
Yeah, correct.
But you gave me that feeling.
Exactly.
You gave me that feeling.
I have to like. This is the problem in the hair industry. When you open your doors, 99.9% of your clients are gonna come in with a problem. Mm-hmm. Like a doctor. Okay. Right? They come in with the problem. The problem is hair. Something is psychologically.
Yeah.
Because they wanna have a hair therapy. You know. Okay. They want to talk about their life. Yeah. But they'll come with the problem. So my job is to fix your hair problem. Mm-hmm. And if you tell me if it's color, I'm there to tell you this is gonna work. This is not gonna work. This we're gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. Mm-hmm. If they tell me shave, I want to make sure I do this, and that. If you tell me long hair, this one is long, this one is not. I'm there to fix it. Whatever problem you give me, I want to make sure I'm there to help you repair it, fix it, maintain it, and make sure you carry it back to your house.
You already spoke about this, but it was something I had written down prior. I read it to you. It says, every child is first an artist. So what can you say by that? Every child is an artist.
An artist. Man. You know why? Because I wish I can go back. Like, I think because when you're a child, you're not afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, bro.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And you always have to keep that mentality, because when you're like a child, I remember, man, when I was younger and I started surfing and skateboarding, bro, I will fail so much times and I will follow my chair. And when I was surfing, I will try all these crazy things. I was on the surfboard and I'll flip and I'll just pile in and eat it and get ripped, sucked in and get tossed back, and I was and I was never afraid to fail, because when you're a kid you don't see the whole picture of the failure. But as you grow and older, you start developing this like almost like fearful mentality of like, I don't want to fail because I don't want this guy what's gonna say, because you have the standards so high that you're like, I don't want people to see me fail because I never fail. And when you're a child, you always keep your ego
is low.
Super low. You're always an amateur. The kid is like, who cares? I fall. It's funny because like I always say, like, man, once a kid develops this like art, once the kid develops this technique, it's like natural. You feel like, even that's why as I see students who come in and they're like developing art so crazy, that inspires me. Like, take me back. You know what I mean?
It takes you back.
And then you see
when you see it in somebody else, right?
You see, like, wow, that guy's amazing, and you appreciate the art.
Yeah.
Like we call in Spanish, el arte suave.
Uh-huh.
Right? You're like, oh man. And what you don't envy is the technique. What you envy is the easiness of his spirituality doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
His free spirit doing it.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh man. And that's kind of like what you have to take in and learn it. And that's what I think. Like, every child's an artist.
Absolutely.
Because like a child, even if there's even an artist of not lying to the person.
Yeah.
A kid will tell you, Mom, I don't like this. There's even a subtle art to telling
honesty.
That's an art, because all of us sometimes, where were you today? I was doing this, and the child's like, oh, I was with my friends, there's even an art to that.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of relate it.
Yeah,
correct.
absolutely. So we can say that every child is an artist.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Here, bro. Who dares to try is a success and shall master the art of conquering its dreams. One more time. Who dare to try is a success and shall master the art of conquering his dreams.
Because there's no other option, bro. When you're backed against the wall, like you're pushed to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How else will you learn? And I read a book. It's called, the Talent Code, and it says, failure is a neurological necessity and struggle for human growth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, bro. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. It says struggle. It's a necessity for human growth.
Yeah.
So you have to embrace it.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting older, life doesn't get easier. You just
Yeah.
become a better handling problems.
Yes.
That's
With
all.
your experience, you're just
Correct.
able. I already went over this, so things that could be hard before, they're kind of easier now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for me, every struggle that comes my way, and there's challenges in life, and all that, you know, I have to understand that makes you a better person, that makes you a better challenger, that makes you a better person, that makes you a better artist, that makes you a better, you know, platform artist, that makes you a better jiu-jitsu. That makes you like,
anything.
for every struggle that you bring,
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, now I learned how not to do it, and I learned this way. So a lot of us, like, we're afraid of that struggle, and we don't
Failure.
embrace it. Yeah, like, let's say I come across a guy and I do the best I can in his haircut and he didn't like it or whatever style, and it's gonna hurt because I'm human.
Yep.
And his words might hurt me.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna do the best I can, and he leaves unhappy. And then I have to realize and center myself back and be like, okay, Mario, what did I learn from there? And it's like, you know what? Maybe I should have learned how to talk to him more and see what he really wanted. Maybe I said something that told him like, oh, this color and I meant this blue and he meant this blue. That's what we didn't combine. Maybe I have to, like, next time pull a chart of all the different blues and be like, yeah, that's not blue, that's aqua. You know, like that's turquoise. Or so I think I have to, and that's one thing I really keep myself grounded. I have to keep myself understanding that I have to like and enjoy and love struggle.
Good.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
I understand with my struggle that I'm going right now, the bigger the struggle, the bigger the reward.
That's it. It is.
You know what I mean? So for every
true.
big struggle, every big reward.
Yep.
And then don't also be like, oh, is my reward tomorrow? Like, just let it be.
Yeah, just let it come. Very patient,
Yeah, just let it be. And if it happens
Patience,
in 2 years, it happens in 2 years. If it happens in 5 years, it happens in 5 years. It reached when you were 40. It didn't even might reach to you, bro. It might reach to your kids.
Yeah. Hey,
You know?
shows a lot of growth from you.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Mario, I also seeing you're very humble. You treat everyone the same.
Thank you.
Do you cut everybody's hair the same?
No. Maybe I'm the same person in the same chair in the same station, but I don't.
Okay. It's do you, let's say, like,
No, I don't.
the same person comes the
I have
same
a
week.
really good memory.
Okay.
I have really good memory. So check this out. When I was like starting how to cut hair, and I would like see that manager that he was really good, I noticed he will like memorize your names.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Charlie, hey Robert, hey X, Y, and Z. I was like, oh, sick. And I noticed he will do things like, oh, he comes every Friday. So he's like, oh, okay. So what I did, I grabbed the book that had alphabetical order. Every time I had a client, I rhymed his name down, hobbies, everything he liked. And I did it for a couple years, maybe like a year or two. It was tedious, but I did it every time to the point that I don't need it no more. And exactly, if a guy comes in, I did it so much that a guy came in, I will tell him 90% of the whole 95% of the whole conversation, from start to finish, to consultation, to closure, from personal life to no life, to even the price. Every angle that we talked about, haircut, what he requested, I will know by memory, by law. Like,
Damn.
I will know every single
And that's
thing.
even outside the actual trade itself.
Correct.
Of
Like,
doing
I have
a good job.
guys who like literally, I had guys who come in and say, yeah, man, how's it going? Yeah, man, I'm having a rough day, man. I'm going through all the boards because X, Y, and Z happened. Oh, man, sorry to hear that, bro. And I move forward, and I move this, and I do that. Well, anyways, today, hopefully this haircut, gets me the best job and all that. All right, have a great one, man. I'll see you. He leaves, comes back. Hey, man, how's it going? I'll be right with you. I sit him down, and I quietly tell him, hey, man, how did that job interview went?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? He's like, yeah, last time I cut you, you said you were going to our job interview, right? Oh, yeah, dude, it went well. Thanks for asking, bro. So little things like that, he's like, oh, shoot. Things where, like, they sit at home, and we are caught into this routine of, like, me sitting down and telling, hey, how's it going? She's talking to me, and I want you to be. So I'm hearing, but I'm not listening.
So I can see you're very present.
Correct.
You're present and to remember
I
also.
Yeah, I understand very well of, like, how to learning how to not hear, but yes, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, when I talk to my client, I want him to understand, like, damn, this guy didn't listen.
Yeah.
He didn't hear me. He listened to the whole thing, and I will bring every single
good.
And it didn't happen.
It shows professionalism for you because
Thank you.
Also people want to go to somewhere where they feel comfortable and they have some kind of familiarity too. So when you bring that that background back. They're, oh shit, dude, thank you. Like,
and then one thing too is like, since I call it therapy, like therapy,
it's true. It's
I
true.
call it therapy. I was writing stuff, but
that's exactly what I was gonna get into, like the psychological part.
Correct. So since I was learning things, I learned how to like start not using the book, because sometimes there was times where I left the book by accident, and the book stayed open, and so my coworkers were like, "Oh
yeah,
damn, the guy did this, bro," and I was like, "Oh." So I was
shit.
like, "Man," so at least at here, like, it's gone. Like nobody will break into that that vault.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not penetrable, bro. So don't worry. Some people tell me, "Yeah, man, I'm losing hair, but just don't tell anybody." You know, and I'm like, "Oh, bro, don't worry. Losing hair, you're gaining hair, dog. Bro, look at your chest." You know, like I'll say things like that. You know, to make him feel better immediately. Funny. Yeah. And then I'm like, "Oh, but yeah, that's definitely one thing that I do."
Last one, I'm here, bro. Have patience with all things, but first with yourself. Never confuse your mistakes with your value as a human being. You are perfectly valuable, creative, worthwhile. You are a person who simply exists, and no amount of triumphs and tribulations can ever change that.
Oh, definitely, bro. Like, we have to learn how to stop to compare. You know what I mean? Because if you're comparing, you're living in another person's mirror.
Yeah.
Like, if I like your tattoo, I'm like, man, that's so sick, man. I like his tattoo. And I get it. Like, I'm pleasing you. You know what I mean? And I'm never pleasing myself. Like, if I eat this, I might take it as a recommendation, but, like, I'm not into, like, oh, man, let's go, like, do this because I do it and I do it too. And because I feel like I'm just pleasing you. And I don't care what the other person likes. So that brings us to the next part, which is, like, if you're always, like, doing things to please other people, whenever, like, how can I say this? Whenever, like, that person does you dirty or doesn't, you don't meet their expectations.
Exactly.
Your self-esteem gets dropped low, but now 3 times lower. Then you're just like, oh man, like, the devastation is intolerable, and that's when we hit really, really hard, and we see it as a struggle. Like, oh man, like, and you have to understand that you have to live your life and let live. You have to understand that you study for you, you fight for you,
exactly.
You love for you, and it's
even
funny
if
to
you
say,
win, even if you're successful, even if you did worse,
you did it for you.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like,
what the quote.
It comes back. You did it for you, and that's all that matters, bro.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't affect your pay, don't let it affect your day.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
You know, so like let's say JP, like, one day he gets mad at me, like, oh man, I'll resent it, and I'll be like, man, I'll try to do my best to, like, make sure I understand why I was at fault. But if he's like, oh, don't worry, man, it's all good, just stay out of my way. I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't pay my bills. I did as much as I could my part. He doesn't pay my bills, or, you know, so I have
keeping it balanced, keeping it clear.
Yeah. Okay, he goes his way. Maybe
you got to go home, see your family.
That's not gonna come to sleep. Correct.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's where that quote it also arrives to me. It don't matter how well I do in the next tournament that I do, or how bad I did. The fact that I went there, that I put the training, that I did my best, that I know that I did my best, that should fuel me.
Correct. That's
and should encourage me just for my own life and my own purpose.
I think your conscience is really strong too. You know, I think there's like a voice behind your head that's why it doesn't let you sleep, because deep inside of you, you know you didn't give it your all.
That's
even if you lost. I've seen people who have lost tremendously, getting knocked out. You know, like our good friend Israel out in Saya, you know, like when I saw him and he challenged himself and the outcome wasn't as he expected, he was so happy with himself at the press conference.
He put the work.
Like, he's so calm. It's like, how can somebody be so comfortable in themselves? Because
with the loss,
and then with the people may call it with the smear on his record, right? Mm-hmm. But then I look at it back, and I'm like, because he knows deep inside he gives his best. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he gives
it was a challenge for him. It was like, he challenged himself. Either he won or lost, he gave him best. So that actually feels good.
Yeah, to be
that
like,
he did it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then that's how other people see, like, hey man, and that's why I think people like that have resentment, because either they do it to please another person, or they don't give their best 100%, right? Because we always have like that expectation. Oh my God, you have no idea how many times, if you get dressed, when you're getting dressed to go on a date, you're getting dressed to meet that person's expectations. You're not looking how you feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's very important too.
You know what I mean? That's how it starts. That's a good example.
Very good
look
example.
at that. It's like, oh man, I want to get dressed. Let me cut my hair to please this person. It's like, no, the person chose me to go out with them on a date. The fact that we have a mutual agreement for us to share bread and have a good laugh and have energy, that's everything.
Yeah,
that's the 90%.
That's the whole.
The 95%. When you're focusing on something that's materialistic.
Yeah.
Sometimes we even play a person that we are not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. You know, I was like, well, you're Mexican. Like, like I did my hair this way. You never get a haircut every week.
Yeah.
I wear Gucci. It's like, bro, like
you can barely afford.
Yeah, bro. But I'm driving no offense to anybody who drives like a watch is more expensive than my gas tank.
Exactly.
So I'm like, just be super complacent of the person who you are, and then you learn to like live and allow yourself to live. You know what I mean? Allow yourself to live, so you can sleep good at night. And you can be happy, and then the outcome is better if you give it a try, and you do you, and you go to that person, and you guys have a good laugh, a good talk, you guys break bread, and it was really good company. And then you guys go home in the separate way, you're going to sit back and you're going to admire that even better. Because even people who dress super crazy, there's oh man, you think she wanted me because like I was dressing Gucci or I had this car or I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying like it's not going to be in the back of your head. And then you're going to be so happy with it because now you understand, wow, that person chose me as who I was, and it goes back and forth. Even the girl might think the same thing. Wow, I can't believe that person appreciated me.
And one other thing, let's say that person didn't want anything with you. At least you get to keep your own values, your moral, your dignity. Like, oh, I didn't freaking went and bought new shoes just to see this person. I kept my own shoes, still saw her like that. So that shows that you could still keep your dignity, which is huge because nowadays, I feel like young people, they just go out wild out just to feed that other person's, just to cater to that other person. Not to themselves.
That goes back again, like not expectation for you, but you're thinking of expectations for him. Imagine that person, you may hear like, you don't know what the other person is thinking. Imagine it's like, oh my God, guess what, Carrie? This guy JP, he overdid it. He went dress all this and all that, and imagine you overdid it for no reason, bro.
So, all right. Finalizing this for the artist, I'm aiming to the artist. I'm aiming to the entrepreneurs. I'm aiming to anyone who has a call to aim for that purpose that they have inside of them, the artistry, whatever the craft may be. What do you say to them?
If you're gonna sacrifice something, wake up really early and go to sleep really late. Don't think of the outcome. Just do it. Always understand that and learn how to choose something that you love.
Okay.
Because if you do that, if you love something, whenever a pandemic hits, whenever this hits, you're gonna be like, hungry for the tomorrow. Done. You know what I mean? Done. Yeah, bro.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank
Absolutely.
You for being here. Cheers.